5-minute full circle. And this training strategy process that we're doing is going to sort of metamorphose into a, I guess you could say, just like an introduction meets training meets, mentoring meets, whatever else you want to call it at this point, because it's a lot about giving as much as we possibly can so we can get you to a level of success that you're looking for. Now, for some people that might be all over the place. You might want to be a millionaire. You might want to be just put bread on the table. You just want to pay your mortgage or whatever it might be. But we want to help you get to that level. Now, the way that I know how to do that is by working hard, being dedicated, being disciplined, and doing as much as I can to understand the process that I do. And I'm a trainaholic. I love watching training videos and learning how to do things. Maybe that's why I like to build training videos myself. So you're here on this webinar tonight because you've probably seen us on the internet somewhere. Are there any new people that haven't bought into the system yet? Is there anybody here? Just say new in the room in there, so I know what type of webinar we can sort of focus on tonight. If you're brand new, don't worry about it. You just say you're new in here, and that way I can focus, on if you have questions or anything else, and I can ask you certain questions during the process. Corey, welcome. There are some customers that are here already, so there's a lot of people. You see people answering and sharing their experiences here in the chat room too. Please keep in mind that some of them are customers, and so they're here to be a help to the process, and they support and they learn a little bit, because none of these webinars, not one is the same. I try not to make it exactly the same. So if you're brand new, welcome. If you're not new and you're a customer, we have questions and answers prior to and post to the webinar. So keep that in mind, that if you do have any major questions, you can try asking them during the webinar, and I might interject in there if you got some good points. But if not, then I'll just say that I'll answer at the end. Okay, so let's get started. For those of you that are new, what we're about to talk about includes money and include trading, and with trading, there's always risk. Okay, everything that we're here to do is to help you be successful, but it is designed to be educational and trade assistance only. Okay, I can't tell you how many times that I've talked to traders that learned the hard way on how to trade, and that's by losing all your money. And that's no real way to lose or to learn anything. You have to be careful. We are going to train you not only how to trade the system, but how to protect your money along the way. So with that, everything that we do is trade assistance and educational only, and you're going to see some numbers from other traders, myself, and some new people, and their results may not be indicative to what you do. You can probably do better or do worse, so keep that in mind, that all results may vary. The 5-minute full circle trade system and strategy was developed by us here at Our City Investments. That's the mother company of Dex Signals and Dex Indicator. And when we first built the indicator network, we were doing so because we were building so many good indicators for our system for Dex Signals that we thought that, hey, you know what? I'm constantly getting asked, what good indicators do you recommend? And I thought, well, what the hell? Let me see if we can put a few things together to get them in people's hands. And then we began to notice a trend in the market, in this industry. Besides some of the scammy companies out there, we wanted to be able to build something that people could trust, also learn simply, not be inundated with all this BS that you see out there and 50,000 different ways to read an indicator. So using our friends over at Nadex, using their trade systems over there of the 5-minute binary, I originally was training people in our what we call our Trader's Mind series over at DexSignals.com, and I was training people how to use a 5-minute binary to train them on doing as many trades as possible, to get to learn the system on Nadex, get the use and the training on MetaTrader, and how to spot market fluctuations in trend, and then what we call stochastic overbought, oversold. We were using a double stochastic at the time. And why we call this full circle is because originally I was telling people, only use that for training. Don't really trade that live. That'd be crazy, because it is designed to produce a percentage of success between 80 and 80, right around 85% success rate, right? When I used to trade it and I used to trade it really well, I was trading about 90, but the average customer was trading between 80 and 85%. I'd like to say that I had a couple trade a little higher, but they were sort of outliers because they had a lot of experience, okay? The reason why we'd done that is because I was actually teaching people how to lose in the market, right? How to lose on Nadex and how to lose within the system to be psychologically something that you can spot on how to scalp. You've probably seen something in pre-webinar about scalping and teaching them when a signal starts to go bad, how to get out, you know? And I needed you to be able to go into losing trades to be able to do that. So we did a few things in there using the double stochastic because timing's of the essence, right? And so as I started to train people on how to do that, we knew that indicators are only as good as the people that use them and the disciplines that they're trained on. Okay, an indicator is not a predictor of what the market is going to do. It is usually the best ones are driven by price action, psychological levels of support and resistance, and the noticeable values of trending, right? You probably heard the trend is your friend. So we built this system for 5-minute binaries, one for time, so you can get as many trades in as possible. Two, for ease of use, because you're only using 2 indicators. And 3, the values behind a 20-minute or 5-minute binary is that you can get a lot of them done in an hour, right? And the training side of it is all about getting in and getting out and how to make your money, right? So using those systems over at Nadex, they have 4 major pairs that they use in their 5-minute binaries. And they happen on the 5 minutes. So 1 o'clock, 1:05, 1:10, and so on. They also have the availability that when you're using these 4 major pairs to know that there's a certain amount of rules to the process. So we needed to make sure that those rules were understood and how to get in and out of these trades by applying these simple rules. The first rule is something that we usually use on just about everything that we do, even signals, is no news trading. We don't believe news has an effective basis to be traded on. Yes, there are people who are very good at trading news, and I'm not going to debate anybody on that factor. There are a division of people that have this sort of brain capacity to be able to understand those systems that can predict news, and you can follow through all the process and read all the secondary notes and do pretty well trading news. Congratulations. I don't think there's anybody here who can do that. I can't do that. And I'm not saying that you can't do what I do, but I'm telling you, like-minded people sort of gravitate towards each other, and that's what we're here for. We're here to learn a different system because you're tired, right? How many people here have seen a system out there that you bought into, that you get into, and it's like, holy crap, this is complicated? Anybody? I know there's a handful of my existing customers that definitely have, because I know where you came from. And anybody that's new, Corey wrote in that's new. Corey, do you ever have that happen before? Do you ever is there a system out there that you've tried that's been like overly complicated, like more so than it ever really needed to be? Like you felt like the person was intentionally trying to talk over your head? Right. Besides people scamming out there, this industry is riddled with people like that. Right? There's also this process out there where these people are so overconfident, like, man, you're going to make like $5 million a month with my system. It's just not true. There's 3 major components with every trading system. There's the exchange, what you're using, or the broker. This is where the money's at. There's the indication system, and this is the charts process you're following, whether it be signals or your own division of signals of learning through indication or charting. Okay? And then finally, there's you. You are the main component of the entire process. And the moment you realize that is the moment you're not dependent upon any one system. Yeah, I know, I said it. There's no dependency upon even our system. Once you learn how to trade, can you find your own thing? And yeah, you can. There's plenty of things out there that if you dissect it properly and you really start to look at the solutions that are in front of you and learn how to use the indications, any system can work. if you're disciplined enough to do it. And I'm not afraid to tell you that. Now, do I feel like we have the most simplest system? The answer is hell yeah. We designed it this way because we knew that, like you, there are people out there that want to have something that's been stripped away of all that bullshit and just give it to me straight. Give me a handful of rules. Let me do my thing. I don't mind learning. I don't mind taking my time and really learning it, but don't try to talk over my head and don't make it too complicated that my eye starts twitching. So we made this. No news trading. You don't want to trade the system during the news because the news fluctuates so much, especially in a 5-minute binary. Okay. We've created the system to provide arrows at certain time frames. We use the 1-minute time frame on our charting system, and this 3-minute, 4-minute bar that appears so on the 3 or 4-minute bar because these are on 1-minute increments. Very simple. When that arrow shows up for a sell, it's on a 3-minute bar. You're then going to get into the trade for this 5-minute period. Now, just so you know, that 3-minute arrow doesn't show, it shows up on the bar, but not on the 3-minute on the clock. So it will wait until it's right at the end of the 4th minute to show up on the 3rd minute because we want you to use this bar as your indication at what level to get into, whether it be at the support and resistance line or at the tip of the arrow. I completely covered that arrow up with a bunch of writing. Okay, so either the tip of the arrow or the support line, depending on what risk value you want. Now, the reason why we do this is not to back paint, but is to actually give you an opportunity to use that arrow in the proper place that we meant it to be. And if getting in at the 3-minute means that it fires off at the 4-minute, at the end of the 4-minute, you're right at the beginning of that next 5-minute trade to take in that direction. A buy trade is completely opposite. It hits at a different particular time frame and hits that, it's on an M1 time frame, of course, but it's pointing in the opposite direction. And it gives you the availability too, it will fire off on a 3, 4, 8, or 9-minute bar. Okay, now this means that it's the 13-minute, the 23-minute, the 33-minute. It's at that point, right? It's the last digit on the clock, right? Or on the bar here. And you'll see when I hover over the bars on the live MetaTrader that it shows you what minute bar it is, right? And so when you do so, when it fires off a buy signal, you use the tip of the arrow, because this is the price line right here, right? Or the support level price line to be able to figure out what strike you get in on Nadex. It's very simple. There's only a handful of strikes you can get in on Nadex on the 5-minute binary, and you'll see that they match up quite often on the system here. Okay. Now on a sell signal, you're going to actually add 2 extra pips and higher because there's this funny little thing over there called the indicative price, which is usually about 1.5 pips higher, and it's shrouded in a little bit of confusion because it's really 15 prices, the last 15 prices with the middle certain amount taken out. I was always told it was the last 25 with the middle 15 taken out and then the average of those 15, and that gives you the indicative price, which is usually an average of between 1.5 to 2 pips. So right around in that position. So if you add the extra 2 pips on, you'll create a system that is very powerful for you because there's that extra added 2 and it gives you that little buffer. Now on a buy signal, you don't need to do it, add them on, but you can add a little bit extras if you need to get into better money at that point. It'll give you a little bit more of a cushion. Now, how many times can I trade this? Well, simply enough, there's 12 times an hour, right? But we're not going to get into 12 trades, plus that you can use. So you have about 48 opportunities, but you're not going to get into all those. Really, you're only going to be doing maybe about 2 or 3 an hour, maybe 4 if you get really lucky, you know, but you don't want to be doing multiple ones at one time. So you're not going to be doing 2 at a time, right? Even my most talented traders that are on board, even myself, who invented the damn thing, is not going to do 2 or 3 at a time. I'm not even going to do 2 at once. I'm always going to do just 1. I'm not greedy. Using an equation I'll talk to you about a little bit later, you'll be able to take those 1 or 2 times a day, 3 or 4 times a day, and turn it into a very lucrative opportunity, but not until you get disciplined enough to be able to control yourself during the process. us as human beings always seem to be able to think that we can always chase that dream by throwing money at it, by throwing risk into the air and just shooting the Hail Mary up into the sky. Looks great on TV when it comes together, but when it doesn't, boy, do you lose your mind. And I've been there. Now, once we get to that point, adding consistency plus volume equals your goal. And what I was talking about here is that once you get to a certain consistency, why doesn't it make sense? If I'm trading this thing for at least $20 per contract on Nadex, and I can win those 4 trades a day, I know that only equals, if I'm trading one contract, $80 a day. But if I want to make more money, what do? Do I trade more? Or do I simply add more contracts? The answer is the latter. I don't do any extra work. I have a little bit more risk. And you also got to make sure your balance is high enough to be able to cover that risk. So once I get consistent, I simply add volume to reach whatever goal I want to set for myself. If I want to make $6,000 a day, we did this equation before the show. If I want to make $6,000 a month, I need to make $300 a day if I'm trading 20 times or 20 days a month on the average. And that $300 at $20 a contract is about 15 contracts a day. So how many times can I trade in a day to make that happen? Now, we have some training and demoing systems in there that we want you to be able to use. And what we do is we call this round training. And round 1 training, you're looking for your GSR. Now, this is your gross support rate, or success rate. You're trading in demo only, and you do this 100 times. You're trading 5-minute binary, so you'll get to 100 pretty quickly. But this gross success rate is your temporary success rate, because this is where you're going to make your mistakes. You're going to figure the system out. You're going to trade. You'll probably lose a couple of times because you got into the wrong one. That's okay. This will help gauge exactly what you're building. And if you can get in between 80 to 90% on this, right, in this first 100 trades, you're doing okay. That's not daily. We're talking 80 to 90% overall over 100 trades, right? And how do you keep track of that stuff? Well, we're going to show you how to make a journal. Okay, you're going to copy and paste your trades into the system at the end of your trading time. Don't try to do it while you're trading. Do it at the end. The information is always going to be there. It's very simple to use. Okay, we'll show you exactly how to format it and all that stuff. And we'll also help analyze that process. We'll give you a spreadsheet that you will share with you that you'll be able to dump your information in, and you'll have like a guardian, guardian angel hanging over your shoulder telling you, hey, look, we think that you might be getting into that one a little too much. This one's not a really good trade to get in because you got in early, all that kind of stuff. We can help analyze that process for you. So this first group of trades is really going to help you understand how well and start to discipline you in the process of getting in and out. And you'll notice by the end of right around the end of this position, you'll start to really get good. And then what will happen is that your next 100 trades, because that first 100 really going to take you a couple of days, 3 or 4 days. I had one person who was a workaholic, a maniac, a monster, I call him, and he did it in 3 days. Okay, so if it took you a week to do it, this is a lot of information you're going to be doing. It'll also help train you in what time works best for you and what session works best. The next 100 trades is really going to, you're going to boost it up to about 5 contracts a piece. And you're going to do something during this process. You're really going to start finding what your true nature is in trading, because you're going to have a little bit more risk on the line with 5 contracts, and you're going to start seeing your true net success rate, your NSR. And this is really important because you want this 90% and above. Okay? Our highest rate that we have with anybody in the company that's done it consistently is myself, of course. I have a 98.7% success rate with the process. Okay, one of the best that I've seen in somebody who's very active with it is about 92%, 92.8 or 7, I think it is. And a whole bunch of people in between. Now, the worst are all people that are still in their trading, 80, 85, 90%, those kind of things. Okay, so there's a lot of people in there still working on the process. Sharing your results with us at dexindicators.net will help bring to you a faster conclusion on learning how to trade within this system, learning how to be productive in your risk management, know how to really get in and out. And then what's going to happen is that over these 200 trades, 300 trades you're going to be doing, you're going to get such a feeling for the process. And you're going to, like one of my major or senior trader 2 level senior traders is at that point where he is starting to feel a lot more connected with the trade and the trend. And because you're in and out, you begin to see some of these things that happen. Also, the information that we gather is going to start, you're keeping that journal. I'm going to have you, by the time you get to your second 100, your number 200 trades, I'm going to have you start analyzing your trades and teaching you how to do this by going back through your results on your discipline, right? Once you get to that 200 trade, you've really started to hone it, right? That second batch should take you about 2 weeks to really go through. And once you do that, you can start isolating euro. You isolate each trade, not each trade, but each asset, okay? And you put them all in one particular, you got one sheet for Euro USD, you got one sheet for British Gold Pound USD, you got one sheet for Audi USD, and the other one you put one sheet for each one. So you got 4 sheets. And then you can start seeing which session worked best for you, which one was the best value, which one gave you the best success rate. And you'll start noticing things. Some of you might be 100% success on the EU. It might be the GU for some of you. You might have a higher rate of success. It might not be 100%, but it might be like 98% on one of them. You might find that the Euro USD is 55%. And you're like, guess what? Never trade in the EU again. And that's okay. But this information will start to relay itself to you by your own actions. I can't show you mine because I trade differently than you. A little bit. I follow the same disciplines. Okay? But where I get in, how I get out, all that stuff. What my success rate is compared to yours. What I put my working orders on when I'm doing a 5-minute working order. So they're all a little bit different. So why would I train you what I do physically, exactly what I do, when you're not me? Right? Okay. So I think the best thing to do now from this point, let's go over and have a look at the system, and I can kind of show you what it looks like in a working capacity. The first thing I do is that I isolate in this, what we call the 4 square. And I already have our indicators on board. You see these 2 indicators, and I have them in a capacity that is easy to use. I also like to separate my index account at the same time, and I'll usually have only these 2 things open. I might have on the news tab, right? But really, I don't really need much else from that point to trade with, because if I have too much open, I'm going to find myself, surfing around on Facebook, answering emails, all that kind of happy horse shit that you just don't need to have in your trading life, right? Let's be real. You just need these 2 things open when you're trading. You start going all over the place, you're going to find yourself in the loss zone, right? Okay, so here we are. We're using a 1-minute time frame on all 4 of these charts, and I make sure that they're all set up and ready to go. Each one has a crosshair that happens right here up in the crosshair, or you get your mouse wheel if you're using a mouse. And I make sure that I'm ready. And now what I'm doing is that I'm simply doing a quick analyzation of whether or not that arrow appears on a 4 or 5. Okay, in this case, that appears on a 2. You see it says on my little box down here, if you hover over yours, you'll see that it says 2, the very last digit. That's what you're looking for. If it's set a 3 or 4, okay, because remember, at the end of the 4th minute, because we're at 7:24 Eastern time right now, at the end of this 4th minute, if 1 appears, like here we are right now, if 1 appears on the 3-minute bar, it would have done so right then, right? So at the end of the 4th for the beginning of the 5th, if 1 was going to appear for a signal, it would have appeared on the 3rd-minute bar, which is right here where my crosshairs is at right now. And this one doesn't have one. None of them have one. So what do? We wait an extra minute because 1 could appear on the 4th minute, right, at the end of the 5th. Very simple. And if 1 doesn't appear, We just have to wait another 4 minutes for another trade or possibility of a trade to show itself, right? Now, the cool thing is that while you're doing this part, you could be investing, because now, right now, there's Audi news going to release. So even if anything does come out, I'm going to avoid the news like the plague on 2 bulls or more. So 2 or 3 bulls, I'm going to not trade the market at that time period. A half hour prior to that time and a half hour afterwards, I'm going to avoid the news. And the reason why we avoid the news is because we don't want to get into this market. News releases and blows it out of proportion because the signal can be tricked by news. There's no perfect system out there, but the system that we've created, it's all about timing. Okay? So using this on Nadex is very simple as well, because the platform, as you can kind of see, is that if you just go straight to the 5-minute binaries and you have this screen up, you'll just hover. As soon as one clicks off, let's just say that here we go. Here's a 4-minute one right here. Now, I'm not going to get into this trade, but I'll show you. Even though it's demo, it doesn't really matter. But as soon see how this signal just came off at the end of the 5th minute, this signal fired off. I hover over the tip of the arrow and I look over here to the right, and I see over to the right that the price is 104.50, right? So then I shoot over to Nadex, because this is the USD JPY. USD JPY. Now remember, there's news happening right now. So if this loses, it's not about a regular trade. I normally would not get into this trade. So I'm looking at 104.50 and 104.51 is the closest one. Now, because it's already raised up a handful of pips, we don't have an opportunity to get into this trade. But there's actually something that we could have done in the very beginning. We could have put a working order on the trade. Because it's a buy, we need to do $78 because I'm looking to get at least $22 profit, and I'm going to hit place order. And this will put it down in working orders. And this is called a working order trade. Now, normally I would have this on within that 3-minute time, that 3 to 4 minute time frame, right? So we wouldn't be doing it this close to expiry. We're just going to let here just sit. And as soon as it pops under 2 minutes, I'm really not interested in waiting this thing to get down to the last second and possibly get on when it's running downwards and out of control. Okay, in the last minute, there's always that possibility of the thing's going to drop like a stone, get filled, and lose. So I'm just going to remove it by clicking on it and hitting delete reminder and hit close. And remember too that a working order in your live account as well as your demo account will put money in, will take money out of your main account and put it into a reserve until you close it out or until it gets filled. All right. Then it goes from reserve to available amount. So keep that in mind. You can't have 50 different working orders down here because it will drop your usable balance out of proportion. Okay. So that's basically how simple it is. When you're using a sell system from that process, when you're using a sell signal, you're going to use either the tip of the arrow and of course, or a support and resistance. Okay. And something like this. And then you're going to add 2 pips up from that position. Okay, because you want to be able to include the buffer for the indicative pricing. All right, simply enough then, once your trade wins or loses, you can easily go to your account, go to your history, go to your transactions, view that history. Okay. And then simply drag it from the bottom and copy and paste this into a journal. Now, we show you inside how to read all this stuff. It's under our Nadex Ninja series in the process. All right. At this time, too, now I think it's probably because we won't be able to really get into too many trades with news happening right at this moment. Let me take you over to the system itself, the website itself, for those that are brand new, and I will actually show you what the system is. I'm just trying to read Dan's based on the weather. Okay, but let me show you the website itself so you can see that in action. Let me get over to where did I put it? I lost my site. Oops, it's Dex Signals. I'm so used to going Dex Signals. All right, here we go. ugly mug, if you ever want to know what it looked like. So when you sign up with the system, immediately the solution of what we have created for DEX indicators is to create a set of indicators that really do work and that will help you. Our system has several strategies to it under the strategies network that use a couple of different signal systems. So we have our flagship DEX support and resistance system that is very, very powerful, that will give you a support and resistance field. Now, all of the indicators are absolutely free with the monthly membership, right? And that monthly membership includes all the signals that or all the indicators that we have right now and any new ones that we have coming out. It also includes all the strategies, all the training, everything that we have inside, and free consults with the system as well. So you know, you have as many of those as you need within reason, right? I'm not going to be talking to you every single day. You're going to have to save some time for trading. But these two particular ones are very powerful, and we use them in 3 of our strategies that we have: the DEX 5-minute, a DEX 1 hour, and a DEX daily. That DEX intraday 1 hour trade system is so easy to use once you even figure out how to trade on the 5 minutes, and I'll show you that here in just a second. We also have a DEX flag and pennant system that is by far one of the most powerful ATMs at the money signal systems that I've ever put together. Now, once we finish doing that strategy plan around there, I think that's probably going to become one of our most favorite ones, because it can also be used, you ready for drum roll? Forex. And once we finish that strategy process, because we have so many things happening, it's going to blow your mind, especially if you're going to see how well this company takes off from that point. We do very well right now, but once we're able to tackle the Forex division of signals and indicators, this game's sort of over. The DexSignals.com network also has their little finger in this as well, because we've made our DEX daily signals indicator that emulates the DEX Signals daily signal, right? And that comes out 6 times a day, usually 2 to 5, maybe even 10 signals 6 times a day. So pretty powerful there. And once we teach you how to use that, you can basically, I mean, if you're a chart head, if you really like being chart active, this is the bomb for you. Because not only do you get the indicators, but you get all the training behind it. You get the person who made them, right? Now, is a pivot system unique to me? Did I invent the pivot system? No. Did I invent flag and pennant? No. But I revamped them enough to make them very simple to use. I added some major installational stuff into the trend reverse that makes it unique. You'll never find this anywhere in the world. Anywhere. You'll find like systems like it, but you won't find the effectiveness that I've devised behind the system with it. The same thing with the DEX support system. We devised some very powerful solutions underneath it that you won't find anywhere. You can find other support and resistance and use it. Don't get me wrong, but you won't have the same success. That's why we've created these things, to make them ease of use. Now, once you sign up and you get inside, you're going to find that there's a lot of goodies in there as well. The big one is Trader's Mind. And this is a system that we taught over at Dex Signals, and even prior to Dex Signals, this was our first company. The Trader's Mind series was to teach people how to trade using 5-minute binaries and a double stochastic network that I created and coined for a pretty long time ago. And it really taught some of our master traders, our senior level 2 traders, how to scalp and work their trades, right? So it has a tremendous amount of worth to it just for itself. Even if you came and bought for 1 month, having Trader's Mind is going to really teach you a lot. I mean a lot. The MetaTrader Mayhem system, I'm going to teach you a little bit about the MetaTrader system, but really mostly on how to use it with our product and our systems. And of course, Nadex Ninja is going to teach you a lot about Nadex and how to get in and out of the trades and how to use some of the complex things that are in the process. I talked to one gentleman yesterday. Even on my birthday, I'm talking to people, right? They call the shop, and line's always on. It's on 24/7. Do I pick up at middle of the night? No, but there are times that I will pick up. And when I was telling him that, you know, the Nadex Ninja series that was in there, he says he already went through it, and it was the only thing stopping him from being successful was learning how to use Nadex. He knew how to use MetaTrader. He knew how to use indicators. He was very disciplined and could follow rules, but he was scared to death of Nadex because it does have some nuance. So again, these 3 things are given to you as soon as you sign up. All right. So it's a very powerful system. Lastly, there is, of course, the book a consult. Now, booking a consult, you get an opportunity to talk to me, and it's not, I'm not the guru, all right? I'm just the guy that got ripped off so bad in this industry and hurt so bad that I learned I could teach you what not to do from this point. Now I can teach you also what to do now because I'm successful with this. And I count myself as successful. I'm very proud of my success. I don't care what my detractors say. You got to break a lot of eggs to make a very big cake. And I've broken a lot of eggs. I've had many businesses in this industry, and I've had many businesses in other industry, and I've worked very hard. And Dex Signals has been around for about a year and a half. Our City Investments has been around for that just about that time. But I've been working from home for 9 years now. We've passed that 9-year mark. And that means that I've had to been doing something right to be able to stay by my children and be home all the time for them and enjoy my commute, which is 42 steps to the kitchen. So I'm very excited to say that I count myself as a major success in my life. Now, the icing on the cake is that I get to meet a lot of people that are trying to get to that point as well. Now, in our underneath our strategies, of course, we have the two major ones. There's also an opportunity to see proof playlist. And this playlist, because this is a playlist, you get to scroll down here. And if you go all the way to the bottom, you'll see the first trades that we were doing. So you can see me going in and using the system and going back and forth and seeing what I get in and get out with and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, there's also some other proof systems that are in there as well for that solution. All right. Now, for those of you that are new, you showed up here to a webinar tonight to find out something new. Maybe you're looking for something to happen. I don't know what or who you are in this industry. I don't know if you've been hurt, if you've been searching, if this is the next best thing for you, whatever it may be. But eventually, one time or another, you're going to have to stop. That's the only thing I can tell you. Your true idea of success, what you want to make it, you have to stop and find something that works. And if you can't find something that works, you got to grab the clock off the wall and start making it work. If you really want to trade from home, if you really want to work from the systems, you have to surround yourself with people that do it, that are successful, that are driven. And if you can't find that, then maybe trading's not for you. And that's okay. I've had to tell a handful of people that, hey, this may not be for you. Your expectation's too high. Let me tell you, if you need the bread that's on your table, if you're counting pennies until next payday and those kind of things, give it some time before trading becomes part of your life, because it's not the genie in the bottle. It's not the rubbing of the lamp. There's a lot of work and discipline that has to go into it. Your indicators are your tools. I become just part of the education for you to help teach you how to get in and out of the trades and how to work the process. But eventually, you won't even rely on any of that. You'll be able to rely on your indicators and the solution in there. Now, as a bonus, I want to give you $50 off your first month if you're brand new, right? If you're brand new, I want to give you $50 off your first month. Okay, so use Dex Save 50 on the coupon that's in the system. But let me give you just a little incentive before I let you go. We are building a system right now you have to use MetaTrader 4, right? MetaTrader 4 is the primary system for all the indicators. But we're building a web-based platform, right, that you just log into. Your charts and indicators will all be on the platform. That means the support and resistance, everything. And we will have, of course, we're going to have our daily signals will be on this process. So we'll have daily, intraday, you ready for this? 5-minute signals. I know, right? How can that be? How can you have a 5-minute signal system? Well, because if we're using our data system and doing it right onto the page, you now don't need to download anything. You just go to that page that you have access to because you have a membership with us, and you can access this 5-minute. You can look at the dailies, and you can scope in between each one just by one button click. Oh yeah, right? Now, we're building this out as we speak, and we're trying to have alpha out by Wednesday. By Tuesday night, Wednesday, we're having the alpha vision of this, right? And this means that we're testing the hardcore with a few people to make sure that it doesn't explode. And then on Wednesday to Friday, we're trying to get beta out. And in beta, we're going to actually let some of the senior level 2 traders trade with it. Okay. And this is where, like, Michael and a handful of other people that are in the room are going to get access to it to be able to trade on it, right? And then by the beginning of next week, you're actually, as members, if you buy in right now and you're a paying member of the system, okay? Well, let me tell you one thing. If you're not a member of the system and you're a brand new customer, you're going to pay $147 just for the what we call the Dex Trader Station. Okay? That's going to be 147 bucks just for it. Our system already cost $147 minus the $50 you get off tonight. Right? And trust me, it's worth it. With everything that you have in there and all the indicators and everything else, if your tools, if your 147 bucks could make you $6,000 a month, would it not be worth it? It's all about ROI at this time, right? So even in the training and the mentoring and the consults and everything else and associating with other people, that 147 bucks is worth it, right? So now, if you get in as a new customer, you don't have to pay 147s. This one here is free. But for all of our new customers, it's going to be an extra $147. Yeah, the main system might get up to be more than 147, especially once we release our flag and pennant system and our other intraday strategies and other things that happen. Because listen, there's companies out there that charge $800-900 a month for strategies and processing and groups and all that stuff. And what I feel what we have is a ease of use system and a very powerful model and a community of traders that have one thing in mind, and that is to create a safe area that we can bring in more traders to trade, that won't get bullshitted, that won't get abused, that won't get talked down to, that won't get ripped off, that will get trained. Their answers will get your questions will have answers. You can call and talk to the owner. You can get customer service that's on the website that is off the chart. Right? So it is very simple. Training videos that are 2 minutes long, 4 minutes long. You don't have to sit for an hour and a half, listen to buddies slur their words all over the place. You get very concise and to the point. So if you ever need to go back and figure out how to do something, the headings on there tell you what each and everything is. How to install, how to use, how to make, it's all there. I'm not going to blind you with 4-hour webinars and all that kind of happy crap. I'm here to give you the ease of use of the system. So if you buy in tonight, if you buy in this week, get your training on, and then by the time everything's ready for you, okay, you're going to save 147 bucks extra a month, because trust me, you're going to want that system, okay, because it's all inclusive into the process, but it sits on its own. And you just go to that you'll go to the website. It'll be Dex Signals and Dex Indicators for now until we make it its own process. But even when we listen, if we upgrade it to be $3,000 a month, you know, in the future, it doesn't matter. Your price is locked in forever because you've helped us build it. Every penny that every one of you pay to be here, you've invested in who we are. The best way that I can return that investment is to do well by you by giving you as much as possible. Okay? Because you earned it. Right? I can only teach you. You actually have to do it. Michael's success, I didn't even show you that. I'm sorry. Let's look at results. Remember, all results may vary. This is Michael F. And Michael F. started back on, let's go look real quick, on the 17th of October. And in 3 days did 100 trades. Okay? I'm sorry for the scrolling. Don't mean to drive you crazy. 98 and 2. So that's about 98%, right? exactly 98%. That was his first batch of 100. His second batch of 100, where was that at? I think it's right here. Okay. Here we are flying, right? Not bad, not bad. Look at this, 97 and 4. Right now he's using 5 minutes. He's using 5 contracts, and plus, by the way, he did that from the 19th to the 25th, the 24th, and did a $9,589 battle. Okay, with 97 and 4, and 97 and 4 more than it's 101. He did the same thing I did from before. 97 divided by 101. 96% success rate. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine doing that? I can, because he does it. I see it because I do it. Okay. He's now in his next batch, right? He's slowing it down some. He's taking more quality trades. Has a little bit less success rate. May have pushed a few. Who knows? You know, maybe traded some news, got around some things. Who knows? But listen, the success rate, remember, is not about the micro look. It's about the macro look of it all, right? And 72 and 6, right around, what's that, 92%? 72 divided by 78 equals 92.3%. So if I take all three, 96 plus 98 plus 92 divided by 3, it's 95 overall, 95% success rate overall. What could you do with a 95% success rate? Make your goals? Get to that success rate you're looking for? Would you stop searching? Would you stop hunting out the next great thing? It's sitting in front of you, but you have to drive it. For all of you that are watching this after the fact, I want to thank you for hanging out with us. These webinars are made for you to be part of a system, and you're here now taking charge of that system by watching this video. And I hope for the best for you. Everybody else that's in the chat room, hang out with us. I hope you all trade well, and I'll see you in the next training. We're actually going to be doing a little bit different webinar tomorrow night. We're going to be including Dex Signals into it. So please, if you desire that you will have questions, show up early, 7 p.m. We're on board about 6:15, 6:20, right around that area, trying to find some trades to get in to show you proof in there. We'll even try to hunt. I don't know if we're going to hunt any tonight, but the phases are questions and answers, all that stuff. So if you're watching after the fact, we're going to split. I'm going to hit the recording, kill the recording. We're going to talk to the people in the chat room. It's another benefit for being here. Everybody have a great day. My name is Max Farrow. This is DexIndicators.net. I look forward to seeing you side. Now remember, Dex Save 50. Save $50 off your first month and trade well.